Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi Maseches NIDAH Daf Nun Dalet. We begin at the Mishnah, which is on Nun Gimel Amud Beis. Haroya Yom Yud Aleph Ben Hashmashis. So before we begin, you see, unlike nowadays, where because of our lack of expertise in many of these matters, we observe the highest standard. We're the most strict. We see a droplet of blood, she's presumed to be a zava. The more strict tumah, which requires shiva nakim, observing 7 clean days, in order to facilitate immersion in the mikveh and to complete the purification process. So today, if she sees dam, she has to wait until the flow stops. It's a hefsak tahara, personal examination to confirm the absence of any further dam. After which she observes 7 clean days, and then comes the tevilah in the mikveh. However, in the time of the Gemara, the time of Chazal, the system went a bit differently. It went like this: an isha experiences dam, she's automatically tummy for 7 days, 7 days only. Now, during those 7 days, she's tummy whether or not she sees further dam. It's a 7-day unit of tumah, at the end of which she's tovel and she's tahar. After which follow Yud Aleph Yimei Ziva. So after the Shiva Yimei NIDAH, follow Yud Aleph, 11 days of Ziva, during which typically she's not expected to have any dam. It would be something unusual, something abnormal to see dam, indication of some sort of ailment and illness. And the halacha there would be like this: if she does have any sightings, so it depends how many. If it's just 1 day, she's considered a zava katana, a small time zava, which does not require shiva nakim. Rather, she merely keeps account of the next day to ensure there's no dam the following day, and that cleanses her. And she could be tovel and she's tar. It's called shemiras yom. She observes today corresponding to yesterday's sighting, keneged yom. Now, if this happens 2 days in a row, same story. Sunday, Monday she had dam. Tuesday she's shemiras yom, keneged, corresponding to the previous days. However, if there were 3 sightings, so she has 3 consecutive days of sightings, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. She's now a zava gadola, grand zava, and requires shiva nakim, observing 7 clean days to complete her process. So again, the cycle begins with shiva yimei NIDAH. She sees dam today. Next 7 days are labeled yimei NIDAH, during which she cannot become a zava. She's automatically a NIDAH only. Following are the 11 Yimei Ziva, and after 11 Yimei Ziva come days without status, unlabeled days, until it starts again, until she sees another dam experience, in which case she starts the cycle all over again. You may need to start all over again. Now the Rambam learns that it's an automatic, recurring system. 7-11, 7-11, 7-11. Most Rishonim learn differently, that it's 7-11, and then we wait until she has another experience, and then the cycle will start again. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that she cannot enter the Yimei NIDAH territory until she's done with Yimei Ziva. So, for instance, she had a triple Riyah, right? 3 consecutive days, which makes her a Zava. Until she's done her 7 clean days, she will not revert back to Yimei NIDAH. But only after she's finished Shiva Nakim, now she's once again eligible to experience Yimei NIDAH when experiencing another sighting of dam. Says the Mishnah, Haroya Yom Yud Aleph Ben Hashmashis. Suppose she has a sighting during that twilight, transitional period, between the end of day 11 and the beginning of the next day, which potentially would be day 1 of Yimei NIDAH. When did it happen? Is this considered a sighting on day 11, last of Yimei Ziva, or is it day 1 of Yimei NIDAH? We're not sure. So she has to account for both possibilities. Haroya Yom Yud Aleph Ben Hashmashis. She sees day 11 Ben Hashmashos. We're not sure. Is it Tchilas NIDAH, V'Soif NIDAH? Is it the beginning or the end of NIDAH? The Gemara will ask, end of NIDAH. There are two possibilities. Either the end of Ziva or beginning of NIDAH. The Gemara will correct the Lashon. We'll explain what the Mishnah had in mind. But certainly it creates confusion. Is it Tchilas NIDAH? Is it V'Soif NIDAH? Is it Tchilas Ziva? Or is it V'Soif Ziva? A similar type of circumstance can arise after a birth. It was a boy, in which case the birthing experience extends for 40 days. If she's dam during the last 33 of the 40 days, she's tahar, dam tahara, after which begin a regular routine of Yemei NIDAH. And she saw dam exactly on that boundary between the last day of the Yemei tahara and the next day. Or at the very tail end of day 80 for the Nekeva, same idea, V'yim Shmonim Nekeva. Ben Hashmashos l'kulan, so anything that occurs during the Ben Hashmashos, in all these cases, it just triggers confusion. Harei toyos. So they're in a state of confusion, a state of uncertainty, and how do we deal with it? So Rashi brings, as we learned back in Erchen, the whole sugya in Erchen Apches, what she's meant to do to get out of the woods. It's a whole complicated procedure. We'll have a look over there one day, Be'ez Hashem. Before you address these cases of women who are not sure what happened because their experience occurred in a moment of uncertainty, before you address those, why don't we first address the cognizant women, those who know exactly what happened. It didn't occur in a twilight. We know exactly what's going on, but it can still be complicated depending on her pattern and how exotic it is, as you'll see in the Gemara. So first, regarding the semantics in the Mishnah, it was a Re'iyah at the very end of day 11. Was it during the day 11? Was it during the following day of Yemei NIDAH? Is it the end of Ziva? Is it the beginning of NIDAH? So why does the Mishnah say Tchilas NIDAH, V'Soif NIDAH? I'm not sure, was it the beginning or the end of NIDAH? The end of NIDAH, that doesn't seem to be a possibility here. Tchilas NIDAH V'Soif Ziva. It's either the beginning of NIDAH or the end of Ziva. Amar B'Chizdach Hikamar. The Mishnah was addressing more than just one case. On both sides of the trail. If it was at the end of day 11, that's either Tchilas NIDAH V'Soif Ziva. And there's another possibility as well. What if she saw at the very end of day 7 of NIDAH, which transitions into day 1 of Ziva? Similar type of story, but just in the reverse. There it's either Soif NIDAH or V'Tchilas Ziva. And that's what the Mishnah had in mind. Before addressing the foolish ones, why are they foolish? Hani Shoites. Ninu, says the Gemara. Why are we addressing them with a term Shoites, which has a negative connotation? What did they do wrong? Toyes Ninu. It's just a state of confusion that they're experiencing. Elatni Toyes. Revise it to Toyes. Okay, so before we address Toyes, I want to first address more typical cases. Women who saw Dam in broad daylight, no Ben Hashmashos issues, but because of their exotic patterns of sightings, it's going to create all kinds of mathematical gymnastics, as we're going to see. The Sanya. Here goes. So the Mishnah will address around 10 or 12 various configurations and patterns that a woman could experience. Of course, these are exotic and extreme and pretty unlikely, but in typical Gemara fashion, we do address specifically extreme cases. Once you have that down packed, you certainly can address more simple cases, as long as you got the formulas behind it. The Sanya, Yom Echad Tamei, Yom Echad Tar. The woman has an interesting pattern. One day Dam, one day Dam free. And that's why she travels through her life. Sunday there's Dam, Monday there isn't. Tuesday there is, Wednesday there isn't. So what's her status regarding her husband? Is there any way for them to be mutter together? Okay, Mishamesh Shmini B'Leila Imay. Now Rashi explains we're talking that she's having her sightings during daytime, consistently. It's always daytime. So in this case, she will be mutter, Mishameshes Shmini B'Leila Imay. day 8, and the following night as well, which doesn't yet carry a risk of dam, because it's still nighttime. And out of the full 18-day cycle, right, which comprises the full gauntlet, it's the 70 NIDAH with the 11 NIDAH, out of the full 18, she has an additional 4 nights. How is that? Very simple. So the shaded denotes the day of dam, and the clear day is a day that's dam free. So day 1 there's dam, day 2 there's no dam, etc., etc. So what happens to her? The first 7 are Shivas Yemei NIDAH, followed by 11 Yemei Ziva. Now once she's completely through the Shivas Yemei NIDAH, day 8 is fully okay, no issue there, and the following night as well. Issue is that on day 9 she has dam again. That requires it to be Shemeres Yom Keneged Yom. Day 10 is off. She has to keep that as a clean day. But the following night, at 10 and 11, she's mutter. And that repeats itself the next day as well. Day 11 she has dam. She's usher on that day, of course, and the following day as well, which is meant to be clean, corresponding to the previous day. But the following night she's okay, and so on and so forth until the end of the 18. For a total of 1 day of heter, which is day 8, and 5 nights of heter as well. The night following the 8th, following the 10th, following the 12th, following the 14th, and following the 16th. But let's say she had a habit of experiencing dam during nighttime. That eliminates any nighttime heter, because the dam comes at night. So we delete all the nighttime allowances, and she's left with only day 8, daytime. Next story. Shnei Yomim Tahir. It was 2 and 2. 2 days Tummy, 2 days Tar. Consistently throughout. So that changes it a bit, but only slightly. In this case, she'll have 4 days of heter. Why? So let's go through it again. 1 and 2, she's Tummy. 3 and 4, she has no dam. So automatically it triggers a 7-day Yemei NIDAH experience. So that takes her till day 8. Day 8, she's okay, there's no dam there. 9 and 10, there's dam. She's somewhat of a zava, but not a bona fide zava g'dayla, which requires shiva nekiyim. It's only shemeres yom. So day 11 has to address shemeres yom kineged. She's usher there. Day 12, she's okay. And this repeats itself again and again. 13 and 14, there's dam. Day 15, Shemeres Yom, she's usher. But day 16, she's okay. 17, 18, there's dam. She's usher. Which requires day 19 to be kept on the side. And day 20, she's mutter again. Ask the Gemara, what's wrong with day 19? You see, Shemeres Yom is only needed if we're still within the 11 days. But once she's added the 11-day Ziva time zone, there's no need to really observe another day beyond the 18. What's wrong with 19? We learn from here, Gagron Desnan Asr. When Mishnah later on now, Masechta speaks about abstaining on day 19, Gagron, it's an expression of an impulsive person. So that impulsiveness is not just a good trait, an expression of discipline to abstain on that day. It's Asr. With the Rabbanan, it's actually Asr. And you know why? Because it can create misconception. People might think, oh, look, she had dam previous 2 days, and they're not abstaining today. What happened to Shemeres Yom? Not realizing that it's a unique case, because it happens to be day 19. This case is out of the 11-day territory. So, to avoid confusion, we apply an Isra on day 19. It's Asr, and that's why it's not counted amongst the allowable days. Rav Ashi Omar, he says it's not merely midrabanan. It's not just a gargaron. It's not just an expression of impulsiveness. Rav Ashi Omar, minat Torah, abstention on day 19 is required. You know why? Because true, NIDAH chad asr lebayishimra. The 11th day, the last day of the 11 Yemei Ziva, which on our chart is day 18, that doesn't require Shemeres Yom, because that's the halacha. Shemeres Yom is only within the 11 days. There's dam, you have to keep the next day. There's dam again. But once you're at the last, that's it, you're over. There's no din of Shemiras Yom. But let's recall that there was dam on day 17, which is day 10 of Yimei Ziva. And that requires Shemiras Yom. That never happened yet, because the following day, which was designated as Shemiras Yom, turned out to be a day of Tumah. So that Shemiras Yom was sort of put on hold, awaiting fulfillment. And when is that fulfillment going to happen? Today, day 19. True, day 11 doesn't need Shimur, but Asirim Yiboy Shimur. Day 10 of the Meziva, which on our chart is day 17, needs Shimur, and that's today, day 19. So day 19 is out. Next story, 3 and 3. Shloisha Yamim Tamein, Shloisha Yamim Tahir. What happens here? So let's go through the chart again. We have 3 shaded, 3 unshaded. In any case, 7 days are out. Okay, once she's done NIDAH, she enters Yimei Ziva. First 2 days there was Dam. She's a mini Zava. She needs day 10 of Shemiras Yom, Keneged Yom. And she'll be mutter on day 11, day 12. But that's it. It ends right there. Because if you look further, the next 3 days make her a full-fledged Zava. Or 3 days of Dam during the 11 Yimei Ziva makes her a full bona fide Zava, which requires 7 clean days, which she'll never get. True, the next 3 days are clean, but the days after, she has Dam for 3 days, and then back and forth, she'll never have 7 consecutive clean days. So those 2 days are her only last opportunity. And furthermore, and the same exact pattern will repeat itself with 4 and 4, 5 and 5, 6 and 6. Let's see. 4 and 4. So the first 4 trigger the 7 NIDAH status, and day 8, which is the first of Yimei Ziva, is free and clear. There's no issue there, but that's her last opportunity, because then come 4 more days of Dam, which makes her a Zava, which requires Shiva Nakim, which she'll never get to. And beyond that, the same with the next story. So she's seeing 5 consecutive days. So you think it's worse. So in a way, it's actually better. Why? The first experience gets her tummy for 7 days. And then she enters Yimei Ziva. The first 3 days, she has no dam. She's mutter for 3 days in this case, instead of just 1. 3 days. But that's her last time. Because past that point, she's seeing dam, which makes her a Zava Gedoyla, and she never gets Shiva Nakim. She's mutter for 3 days. The Shuva past that point, what about 6 and 6? Shisha Yom Tmein. So now, although again it's a longer experience, but it gives her more opportunity, because the first 6 make her a NIDAH, which takes her to day 8. From day 8 to day 12, she's mutter, past which point she has 6 days of Dam, which makes her a Zava Gedoyla, and she'll never get to Shiva Nakim. What about 7 and 7? Shiva Yomim Tmein, Shiva Yomim Tayrin. So in this case, it's 7 and 7. You would think it's worse, but in a way, she has an advantage, because since she has 7 clean days, she has access to Shiva Nakim, which can get her out of her situation. So it turns out that she has the following formula. Out of every 28 days, she's okay for a quarter of that time, for 7 days. Okay, so let's go through the picture again. We have 7 to start, that's Shiva Yimei NIDAH. The next 7 is clean, she's okay. Next 7, she's a Zava Gedoyla, which requires Shiva Nakim, which are observed following those 7. So now she can start Yimei NIDAH again, and the whole cycle repeats itself over and over again. What about 8 and 8? Shmoina Yomim Tmein, Ushmoina Yomim Tayim 8 and 8. Mishameshes Chamisha Asar Yom Teich Arba Mishmoina. So out of 48 days, she has 15 days that are okay. How's that? First, out of the first 8, so 7 are Yimei NIDAH. Next one is the first of Yimei Ziva, which makes her a mini Zava, which knocks out the next day, which is Shemiras Yom, followed by 7 days, which are all mutter, no problem there. And then come like this, come 8 more days, the first 2 are considered days of Ziva. But since it's only 2, which is 1 less than the 3, that makes her Zavak. There's only 2, she doesn't need Shiva Nakim. So the 3rd day of that second 8-day set will now turn her back to Yimei NIDAH. Why not? We explained before, she can only go back, she's prevented from re-entering Yimei NIDAH if she needs Shiva Nakim, which will never fulfill. In this case, she doesn't need Shiva Nakim. So the 3rd day of that second 8-day set takes her back to the beginning of her track. So it makes her NIDAH for 7 days. And interestingly, the last day of Yimei NIDAH, she's dam free. So even though she's really tummy as a NIDAH, but since she's not seeing dam, you realize she's still accountable for the 2 days of Zava, which she hadn't really. She needed a Shemeres Yom, Kneged Yom, and she hadn't done that yet because she went straight to more and more dam. So that obligation, that requirement, was put on hold. And that will be fulfilled on day 7 in Yimei NIDAH. Even though she's tamei, but since it's dam free, she can apply that as a Shemeres Yom Kneged Yom to those 2 days of Ziva, day 17 and 18. Okay, now when she enters Yimei Ziva, after being Tovel, of course, she's fully Tor for the next 7 days. After which follow another 8 days of Dam, the first 4 of which are considered Yimei Ziva, because they're the last 4 days of the 11 Yimei Ziva, which gives her a Zavak Deila status, which requires Shiva Nakim. Okay, so after the first 4 days, she turns back and begins the Yimei NIDAH. And the first 4 days are Dam, so they cannot be counted as Shiva Nakim. But once we finish the first 4 days of Dam, the last 3 days, even though they're technically Yimei NIDAH, they can be counted towards the Shiva Nakim count to absolve her of the Zava status. And that Shiva Nakim begin on day 41 all the way to day 47, after which she has 1 day of Heter, the final day of the 48 day calendar here. So in total we have how many days of Heter? If you count it up, it's 15. We started at day 10 over to day 16, which gives her 7 Heter, and then over to day 26 through 32, which is another 7 days of Heter, and then the final day, day 48. There is a chiddush here, which the Gemara is going to ask about. Why is it that day 41, 42, and 43 can be considered Shiva Nakim? To get her out of her Zava situation, despite the fact that they're part of the Yimei NIDAH. Since when can Yimei NIDAH, even though she's not seeing Dam, since when can you apply Yimei NIDAH in 2 directions? On the one hand, it's Yimei NIDAH. On the other hand, you're saying it's Shiva Nakim being applied towards Yimei Ziva. That's going to be the Gemara's next kasha. Taisus also points out that this is the way Rashi learns the Gemara, and he points out a difficulty because what about day 37 to day 4 through 40? Why are we considering that to be Yimei NIDAH if she's still in the thick of Yimei Ziva, which had begun 4 days earlier? And it would seem from elsewhere that until you're done your Ziva, you don't enter Yimei NIDAH. But in any case, that's how Rashi learns the Gemara here. And that triggers the next kasha. Why 15? Hani. Arbeis Arhavu, it's really only 14 days of Heter. Why? Because the last Shiva Nakim shouldn't be starting from day 41, which is still in the middle of the Yimei NIDAH. You have to wait until you're done Yimei NIDAH to start Shiva Nakim. So once you begin only at day 44, that's going to stretch another 7 days of Isser. So that eliminates the Heter on day 48. Amar v'adabar Yitzchak. No, Zoysameres, apparently. Yimei NIDAH, she'ein roya bahen. Even days which are labeled as Yimei NIDAH, but there's no Dam there, it can be used both ways. Oilen l'sfira zivasa, it can be used and applied towards the Shiva Nakim. The Boilu, this was a big question that was discussed. Return time and base. Can a day have a dual function? The Boilu, Yimei Leida. So in a similar case, we have Yimei Leida. After birth, she was lettuce, which requires 7-day count for a zachar, 14-day you made tumah for the cave, and she also happens to be a zav at the time. And lucky for her, she's not seeing dam during the 7 days. Can they be considered shiva nekiyim to and be applied towards the ziva? You may lay the shein roy ben. Mao sheyalu l'sfira sivasa. Can she use them to count for the ziva? Amar Rav Kahana Shmuel ben Yorai that you could. Ras or shnaim l'shishi pila. We have a woman who's a bit confused in terms of what happened. She had dam Sunday and Monday for sure. All she needs is one more day of dam, and she's a zava gedola. But on Tuesday she miscarried. We're not sure if the offspring was viable and has the status of a birth, and would trigger the Yimei of 7 or 14, depending on Zachar and Nekeva. We're not sure if there was dam during that experience. So she's totally in a state of doubt on more than one account. Am I tummy because of Leda? Am I not? Am I tummy because of Ziva or not? NIDAH, my pila, she's not sure what she discharged. Harez was Safek Ziva, Safek Leda. She's Safek on all accounts. Maybe a carbon vein nechla, she's bringing a carbon just in case, but you don't eat it until you can confirm matters. And the Brisa continues. If it so happens that she's not seeing dam now, even though there's a chance that she'll get lettuce, but if there's no dam coming through, they can be counted towards the shiva nekim to address the ziva. Clearly, a given day can have dual function. And likewise, you may NIDAH. There's no dam, can be counted towards shiva nekim. Amar Papa, ho, Shani Yasa, maybe there's different. Because you realize she's counting 7 and 7, 14 days, just in case it was a nekeva. But maybe it was really a zachar, so really the second week is extra, and that's going to be credited towards the shiva nekim. Shani Yasa, given the ikla, maybe you led the zachar, since it's possible she gave birth to a zachar, in which case she only needs 1 week, but she's observing 2 weeks. V'chani should be saving these extra 7 days. The kivingla which we applied to, which we oblige her to keep, salkolos for zivas, that can be applied as credit to the ziva. Papa, why are you assuming that she was a boy? In which case, it's an extra 7 days, then that can be credited to. If you let us zachar equals sfuki, can only consider the chance of a zachar. We let us nekeva like a sfuki, we're not going to consider the chance of a nekeva. So what do you have extra time? The fact is, from what we see, that we allow her to credit these days of Yimei Tumas Leda, possible Yimei Tumas Leda towards the Shiva Nekiyim. That proves that you can take the same day and apply it both ways. Oilan, Shmamina. Okay, that's the conclusion. So just as Yimei Leda can be applied to a Shiva Nekiyim, we assume the same thing with NIDAH. There's no dam, you can apply it to a Shiva Nekiyim. Okay, back to the interesting, patterns. We have Tisha Yomim Tmein, with Tisha Yomim Tahirin. 9 Tamei, 9 Tar. What happens to her? Mishamesha is Shmoina Yom, out of every 18 days, she has 9 of Heter. It's pretty simple, because the first 7 is NIDAH, followed by 2 days of Ziva. Since it's merely 2, there's no need for Shiva Nekim. So the next day, she's Shemer Siyam, she's off, but then from 11 through 18, she's Mutter. What if it's 10 days on, 10 days off? Asar Yomim Tmein, Asar Yomim Tahirim. In this case, an interesting formula. Yimei Shimushik, Yimei Zivasa. The days of Heter correspond to the days that made her a Zava, which means to say like this. So it's 10 days of Dam, first 7 are Yimei NIDAH, next 3, which is 8, 9, and 10 of the 10-day pattern, makes her a Zava Gedola, which necessitates Shiva Nekim, which takes her to day 17, after which she's mutter for 3 days. So it's 3 days Heter corresponding to the 3 days of Ziva. Easy way to remember. V'chein, in the same exact model, will apply to any even number. V'chein l'meya, v'chein l'elef, whether it's 100 on, 100 off, 1,000 on, 1,000 off, same story. Why? It says Rashi, the last Rashi in the parak. He says, v'chein l'meya, Tmein, she has 100 days of Tumah. Zayin Yimei, the first 7 is Yimei Nidah, Yimei Ziva, the rest are all Yimei Ziva, because she never cleansed herself, she never had Shiva Nekim. So it's basically 93 days of Ziva, and then the next time around, Me'ah Tahir, now when she has 100 of clean, she'll again have 93, which are Tar, which is the exact number of the days of Ziva in the previous step. Zionist feeders, first 7 days Hashiv and Akim, the Kulu, and the rest, the 93 remaining Latashim, the same with the 1,000 days. That the days of Heter will match the days of Ziva. Haron Lach Bas Simon. Okay, so let's recap. Start with the Mishnah. Isha had a Riyah during Ben Hashmashais, whether it occurred between day 11, last day of Ziva, and the beginning of the NIDAH, or between day 7, which is the last of NIDAH, and the first of Ziva, or at the end of the Yimei Tahara of the Zachar, day 40, or Yimei Tahara of the later, day 80, Toyos. It puts her into a state of confusion, which requires a whole system, a remedial system, to get her out of it and to put her back on a definite track. Rabbi Shua adds, look, before we get involved in Ben Hashmashai's situation, I have a whole list of configurations of cases with very strange patterns presenting all kinds of mathematical challenges for us. We have the 1 day dam, 1 day no dam. We have the 2 day on, 2 day off, 3 day, etc., all the way to 1,000. Well, we have to figure out the meheter for the isha per case. Okay, brand new parak. Dam NIDAH v'bsar hames. We know that the dam of an isha, NIDAH, is metame. Not only is the person, the gavra, herself tummy, but the material, the dam, is tummy as well, very severely tummy. It's an avatuma. In fact, a person touches or carries it, him and his clothing become tummy, as we're going to see in the Gemara. But what's unique about the dam NIDAH is that, unlike many articles of tumah which are tummy and are limited to their being tummy only when they're fresh and moist, like a sheret, etc., not so the dam NIDAH, and also bsar hames, flesh of a mace, metam and lachan v'yavation, metam and yavation, and metam when they're fresh or even dried, as we're going to see in the Gemara. Aval, however, hazoiv, the ziva material emitted by a zav, aniyah, some sort of phlegm, baroik, a saliva, a sheret, a lizard, a creature which is metame, vanavela, portion of a dead animal, vashifra zera. All these are metame only when they're lacham, they're fresh and moist. Vein metame and yavation, but not when they're fully dry. Now, what constitutes fully dry? If you can somehow re-moisturize it, that's an indication that it still retained enough moisture to be considered lach, and it's still metame. If they can be soaked, v'lachser, and be restored to the way they were, metame lachan, metame nivation. In that case, the metame, even when they're dry, because they're still maintaining moisture to the extent that they're still there. Now, what's the litmus test? And how much soaking would be an indication that there is still moisture present, with parshanut and lukewarm water, mace lays for 24 hours. He goes back to the beginning of the Mishnah. He takes exception to the exceptions. We had dam NIDAH, bsar hames, which are exceptions. Metam, even when they're yavish, he disagrees on the second point. Bsar hames, yavish, there. If it's dry and cannot be remoisturized, it is tar. But now, Rabbi says, how do we know that the dam NIDAH is metame at all? And metame even when it's dry? Amar chizkiya damakra. V'adava b'NIDAH sa. So dava is the actual flow of dam. B'NIDAH sa, the pasuk is comparing it to the woman herself. Madva k'may sa, her flow is like her, just like she is tame. Mahi metama af madva, likewise her flow is metame as well. Ashkan lach, okay, that addresses moist, because dava sounds like something flowing and in a moist state. Yavish benol, what if it's fully dried? Amar Rabbi Yitzchak Amakra yihya. The extra word yihya tells you, Vaviyasa yeh, retain it in its status, meaning even if it's dried, it still retains its tumah. So a special pasuk to cover or even dry a dry stain. Okay, but that's maybe only when it started as wet, and then it dried up, so it retains its status. What if it was dry to begin with? When it came out, it was dry already. Yavish mikara minol. V'suha desnan. What about the? Furthermore, we have the Mishnah there, the interesting particles which the woman discharges. So the strange-looking particles, all dry. The snan, pelas coming klipa, she charges something which looks like a nail coming off, or like soil coming sa'ara. A hair coming off chushnat dumim, some sort of fleas, red fleas. Tatlamayim, she drops it into water, and if they dissolve into red, you know it's dam. The question is, Manol, how do we know that something which was dry to begin with, and specifically presented in a very strange configuration? The answer is yeah. The extra word covers even these examples. Okay, so we've established, just like the NIDAH is tummy, likewise with dam. But to what extent? Is a tummy just like her? If she sits on a chair, she lies on a bed, Mishka v'Moshe, they get special status. They become very, very tummy, and av hatuma. To the extent that if one touches or carries these items, he and the begadim that he's wearing become tummy. Does her blood have that same status? Let's say the blood is sitting on a chair, lying on a mattress. Ima. If that's the case, then mahi oisa mishka v'Moshe, she can generate mishka v'Moshe to the extent that l'tamei adam, l'tamei begadim, l'mitame a person and his begadim who associates with those items, perhaps her blood can do the same. Av dama nami, here too. Oisa mishka v'Moshe, l'tamei adam, l'tamei begadim. Says the Gemara, dam is going to sit, it's going to lie. That's a function only relating to people. So the whole concept wouldn't apply to dam. How could you say dama nami oisim atu dama b'mishka v'Moshe? Since one could dam sit and lie l'tamech? According to what you're asking, that only a human has the ability to generate mishka v'Moshe because only he has that function. So I have a question. Evan menugas, a stone from a house that has a nega, which is very, very tummy. In fact, Rashi points out that it's mitame b'biyah. It's even taken to a room. It's mitame anything in the room. What would you say? Can it make mishka v'Moshe? Well, according to you, only a human can function like that, but a stone, an inanimate object, can't make a mishka v'Moshe. Even if it's sitting on something, it's not called sitting. It's just placed there. So that's what you would think, right? But I'll show you otherwise. The fact is that the Brisa needed to bring a source to exempt a stone from making mishka v'Moshe. Apparently, it's considered practically feasible. If it's placed on something, that's called sitting. Even menugas bas mishka v'tamech. According to you, even menugas bas mishka v'Moshe. The istrich krolam uti. Why would we need a pasuk to exempt even menugas from mishka v'Moshe? If according to you, it's not even feasible to apply that to Sanya. Perhaps a stone with a nega can make mishka v'Moshe. To the extent that a person touches that mishkav, him and his begadim become tamei. And it makes sense, v'dinu, based on logic. Look, even a zav, as much as he's tamei, he doesn't have the same extent of tumah like an evan menugas. He's not the metame things in a room. He's not metame b'biyah. He walks into a room, things in the room don't become tamei. Nevertheless, something which he sits on or lies on does. Certainly a stone with a neck which has that added severity. It's matam anything under the same roof. Wouldn't you think certainly it's matam mishka v'Moshe? The pasuk says only a zav can do mishka v'Moshe. Hazav v'lo even negas. Why do we need a pasuk to exempt an evan hamanugas from mishka v'Moshe? Taima. It's only because the Torah exempts it. Without the special source, I would say metama. That the stone, despite being inanimate, makes mishka v'Moshe. So perhaps the same with the dam NIDAH. Says, well, you're right. Okay, but I can exempt dam NIDAH from the same source used to exempt the Evan Nugas from mishka v'Moshe. Umino, from there, from your source. Lav mi amris. Just like you told me, Hazav tells you only a Zav can make it. And not Evan Nugas. Likewise, the pasuk by the NIDAH, different pasuk, but a similar idea. Amakro, the pasuk says Shehir Sheves Olav. Only she can make a mishka v'Moshe. He will dama herself, not her dam. So we have a pasuk that's exempted from mishka v'Moshe. Okay, so in general, the dam is comparable to the NIDAH in the level of tumah, unless we have an exemption. Says the Gemara, there's something called Evan Mesama. If a NIDAH sits on a chair, It's mishkav. What if she's sitting on a heavy stone, Evan Masama, a big stone which is not meant to be moved, it's meant to stay stationary. It's not something which you handle and move around. It's not a transportable item. There's a special pasuk that if she sits on it and there's something underneath that stone, a garment or whatever, it's considered like she's sitting on it. And that, it's like that garment is carrying her. Anyone who carries a NIDAH becomes tummy. So despite the fact that it's so heavy and immobile, and it's not something that's meant to be carried around, meaning you don't carry it around sitting on that stone. That stone is not meant to be moved. So it's not your typical masa. Nevertheless, we have a special pasuk that by NIDAH it does become tummy. So perhaps her dam should have similar abilities. Like she conveys tumah through this heavy stone. Likewise, her dam with a similar type of system. Or to exempt it. If one carries them, Rashi explains it's going on something that the Zav lied on, and it was placed on this heavy stone, and one did masa through this heavy stone. It's metamihim, because just like the Zav himself or the NIDAH herself, likewise their Mishkav and Moishav has the same ability to metame through this heavy stone. And that's a miyut. Oisam says miyutu. It's limited to these things. The mishkav of the zav, or the zav himself, or the NIDAH herself. But Adam, despite being tamei, it doesn't go this far. If you outright carry it, fine. But if it's carried by way of this heavy stone, which isn't your typical mode of transport, it doesn't have an effect on you. Okay. Bottom line. Mishnah listed many items which convey tumah, most of which are only metame when they're lach. Two exceptions are dam nidam sarameis. According to Yesi, sarameis is not an exception. How do we know dam nidam is metame? V'adava b'nidasod, the dam is like the person herself, metame to the same extent or close to the same extent. It will not make an ishkov and moishav, nor will it be metame through Evan Masama because of the special miyutim. And the Mishnah points out that even the materials which need to be moist to convey tumah, but if they can be re-moisturized, the poishim meis, that's an indication of presence of moisture, and it retains its moisture and retains its status, and it's still matame. All the best to you. Hatzlacha Rabba B'sura Yistayv.